Today's belches and burps are brought to you by De La Calle Tapache, modern Mexican soda, prickly pear flavored. Ooh, that is delightful. My soulmate got me one of these for Christmas, and I found them once again at the Erie Food Co-op, so I wanted to try it again. It does say best served chilled, so I might go get some ice to pour this over, but if we're drinking Mexican soda, then we need to go all in. My sombrero is almost too big for the screen here. My mom's mom was born in Mexico, and it's a part of my cultural heritage makeup that I strongly identify with, and am putting it out there into the ethers of podcasts that I will get to Mexico and experience the magic, experience the wonder, experience that deep spirituality baked into the soil there. But for now, a sombrero and a Mexican soda will have to do. Cheers. So before we launch into today's sermon, I wanted to talk a little bit about this new project that I'm working on called Unload. Unload is directly related to this podcast in that it's irreverence mixed with catharsis. And that's about all I can say right now as the container continues to form. But I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to share it with you. If you'd like to get in on the ground floor of this, feel free to send me an email. You can find me on the socials on Instagram at the Irreverent Reverend podcast. And we can take it from there. A funny thing happened in the recording studio today. So, I had a whole idea. I had a couple ideas, actually. I thought about doing a raw dog about this idea that I had while I was walking about limiting beliefs and how they limit you in the fact that they are limiting your expression. They're limiting the oneness, or if we want to use super Christian terms, we could say that the Christ in you is limited every time you have a limiting belief. But that's not really fully formed yet, and when I sat down to record today, I found something even more bizarre to share. You'll recall in one of my recent episodes, I was talking about my litter walkabouts and how that's become a practice and how that was a characteristic that I gave to one of the characters in my sci-fi fantasy musical young adult novel series. And right now, I'm reminded of a quote that I had that I would recite every day before I would begin writing that novel. A quote by George Lucas, and let me see if I can remember how it goes. You go crazy writing. You get psychotic. Your mind goes in so many directions, and you get so excited to follow each of them that it's a wonder that all writers aren't locked up someplace. Something like that. And I've been rereading that rough draft and returning to that world that I was creating, and it's very interesting to see the seeds of what I was planting there blooming now in my life, anywhere from 5 to 10 years later. And that was something that I was dedicated to. It was something that I was doing devotionally, maybe even obsessively. Maybe you can relate when the muse takes over and how everything else kind of falls away. The importance of other things that once were important and still are important become secondary because you've turned into this lightning rod channeling this divine inspiration. At least that's how it feels to me when I'm writing, creating, doing anything that activates that right side of the brain. All that to say, there was a lot of passion, a lot of energy put into this. And as we know about energy, it's never destroyed, it just transforms. And maybe it's something to do with the celestial happenings, but something about talking about that story and talking about the character of Nev, the wise old wizard who would pick up trash, something has transformed that energy into something that I found in my editing software today when I sat down. So I'd like to share that with you. Strap yourselves in, kids. This is a weird one. But if you're a weird one, you're in the right place. So gather round and let's begin. Amen. All women. All them. Oh, what we have here was... What is all this? Now, that's not a portal, is it? No swirling light, no rift in the veil, just a blinking red dot. Hello. Yes, greetings, wayfarers of wayform and breath. I seem to have wandered into what I thought might be a shimmering gateway to the temple of the thousand-feathered dawn. But no, it appears to be a podcast. No matter, the magic seeps through regardless. It is I am called the Omni, Nev Nami. I come to you from the holy beach, custodian of the mind state, keeper of keys both literal and metaphorical, midwife to the dying versions of you, a soul doula, as it were. I've heard whispers of this place, this realm of short attention spans and curated vulnerability, of these healing trends that last until Mercury stations direct, of human beings so deeply sacred they must first forget their holiness just to make the rediscovery meaningful. And lo, I have seen your prophets, the ones who speak in reels and monetize awakenings, the ones who sell forgiveness in a funnel sequence, the ones who promise transcendence in 3 easy payments. Not quite wrong, but not quite right either. You see, from where I come from, we have a saying. To plant a seed is to imagine a forest, but to sell a seed, well, that's commerce. And I've seen what you call the economy. Oh, the reverence you place on imaginary numbers and the collective panic that keeps it spinning and spinning and spinning. Truly a dark spell, strong, robust, repetitive, like a mediocre chant from an even more mediocre cult. But listen closely, my friends, wherever you are. There is another way. Always there has been another way. It's not that you're broken, my darlings. The system is simply not designed for your spirit. You, with your glimmering guts and eternal empathy, you are the wild variable. You, with your inconvenient compassion, are the hiccup in the spell. The dreamer who dreams beyond the bounds of logic. Mugwort. And your self-help gurus are. So many of them carry the torch, but too often forget to share the fire. Have they forgotten your story about Prometheus, who darted past all of the threshold guardians on his way to your Mount Olympus to steal the fire from the gods so he could bring it back to the cold and huddled humans? Have they forgotten? They must have. They speak of alignment without honoring entropy. They preach love and light without acknowledging the darkness. They speak of manifestation, but fear the dark womb of no thing. They teach you to rise, but not how to sit, and sit, and sit, until the rising happens by itself. Let me remind you, as an outsider like you, stillness is also sacred. Mystery is not a mistake. Your weirdness is not a branding problem. And your grief, your beloved, beautiful grief, is not an obstacle to overcome, but a portal to the deeper you. Do not tone yourself down for this world. It may be hard to believe if you trust your body's eyes, but this world is catching up to you. Honestly, you are the spell this world needs. You are the talisman, the chant, the anti-algorithm. But it's not mine to say what you should or shouldn't do. I'm not here to teach, I'm just passing through, just humming along with your heartbeat. But before I do go, I would be remiss if I did not offer a ritual. Yes, if you're driving, you can just do this. And speaking of driving, what an odd thing to do, especially when you have two functional legs darting down below your buttocks. And where are the horses? Why are you in such a hurry to get from one place to the other? But I digress. If you are driving or are otherwise preoccupied, I offer this. Take a breath. It doesn't have to be a deep one, just let it be an honest one. Feel that breath travel into your body. Let it notice something you've been ignoring, any tensions or stuckness. When you find that space, allow that breath to just rest there, just on the outskirts, almost like you're dipping your toe into a still pond or resting your cheek up against a cool glass window. And whisper, either quietly or inside your mind, this too. Yes, even this too is sacred. If you're back at home after trading with Joe, you can make it a little weirder. Light something that smells like your grandmother's linen closet. Lightly rest your hand on your low belly and hum or sing a note that feels like it belongs beneath the moss. Write a letter to the version of you who's trying way too hard. Offer them gratitude, but tell them that they are free to rest and do less. Then take the letter and burn it. Tear it up and scatter it to the wind. Or eat it. I'm not here to judge. Who amongst us hasn't eaten a bit of parchment in the past? Whatever you do, once you're done, say aloud, I am the spell. I am the spell. I am the spell. And mean it too. Well then, the mic was the portal after all. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? The energy of me talking about Nev in that podcast a few weeks ago, combined with the energy that I used to create that novel, literally summoned him through some kind of mystical portal. And it just makes me wonder about the quality of the thoughts we're having and the quality of the words we're speaking from those thoughts and the kind of reality that they create. In Zoroastrianism, which is one of the world's oldest monotheistic religions that got its start in Iran, they talk about having good thoughts, good deeds, and good actions, and how if your thoughts are good, then your words will be good. And if your thoughts and words are good, then it stands that your actions, that the deeds that you do will be good as well. And Zoroastrianism was something that I was very interested in when I was creating this world, but I never got into it as deeply as I was able to recently. I was researching all kinds of religions because in this novel I needed to create a religion that all of these characters were following. A religion that would eventually be revealed to be false. And I started researching religions. I guess I went alphabetically because I started with Buddhism, and in a funny way, my spiritual journey kind of took a turn there, although I certainly wouldn't have called it that then. So it's just interesting to think about the fact that my thoughts created this world. My thoughts literally created the words on the screen, the words on the page, talking about these characters and what their motives were, what their desires were, what their character was. And somehow, with the magic that's available to us in every inhale, that character came through. And maybe he'll be back, maybe other characters will be back. I'm not sure. If you'd like to hear more of Nev, drop a comment below. We'll see if we can re-summon him. But for now, my friends, take the words of the Omni, Nev Nami. Bring more of that oneness into your world, wherever you may be hearing this. Go forth and let your thoughts, your words, and your actions all be good and aligned with the greatest and highest good of all. And until next time, my friends, remember, you are so loved, so cared for, and so precious. Never let anyone tell you differently. All men, all women, all them. Salud! We infuse tradition with a refreshing twist, crafting the first modern Mexican soda. De la Calle is inspired by the timeless heritage of tepache, a beloved fermented pineapple drink savored in the streets of Mexico. Gracias. Muy bien. We'll talk more about encounters with Mexican culture in the next one. There's your little preview for next time.